It's time to pay tribute to the fierce spirit of competitiveness. Folks, this is the 10th quiz in the ProQuizzin League Battle of the Youth, and this one is on sports and games. This is Dhruv Mukherjee, and once again, I'm joined by Shaumonnoy Banerjee. And Shaumonnoy, I'm going to put you right on the spot. Is quizzing a sport or just a game?
So that is just like, one of those yellow or blue dresses controversy that happened a few years back. So this question is exactly like one of those questions that is quizzing is a sport or what? Okay, so in quizzing, well, I'm trying to think. I'll tell you by the end of this quiz for sure. Let's quickly jump into that.
Yes, I think we'll let the 6 contestants show us how much of a sport it can be and how fiercely competitive it can be. Let's go straight to our leaderboard. We finished 9 games, of course, already. This is the 10th game. And last week, we finally saw a bit of a change at the top. Though the scores are tied on 39, the Wizards are slightly ahead of the Aces on total score. Then you've got 3 teams on 30, the Geeks, the Intellects, and the Brainiacs, and the Chennai Erudites on 27. So there's a big chance we could see massive ups and downs in the overall standings in today's game. That remains to be seen. We are 4 rounds away from that. Before we begin the quiz, let's take a look at the new combination of faces who are going to represent their city teams. All right, the home team for today, the Bengaluru Aces, represented by Shubhadeep Sharkar, Pratyush Singhal, fronting the Kolkata Wizards today, Abhimanyu Bharade once again for the Ahmedabad Intellects, Omlan Shannal for the Mumbai Geeks, Naman Jain for the Delhi Brainiacs, and we've got Sagar Agarwal for the Chennai Erudites. Shaumonnoy, I believe this is the first quiz where all 6 participants are repeating, or rather returning.
I don't think so. I don't think Amlan hasn't returned, and yeah, except for him, I think all of them have appeared at least once before.
Right. Correct. It's the first time for Amlan, so incredible. 10 episodes and we're still seeing new faces. That's the beauty of the ProQuizzin League. All right, without further ado, let's take a look at the round. This is the first round, and we're also going to see in which order the teams will be answering. Shaumonnoy, take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. The first round, as usual, is the knives out. Each team gets 1 direct question, 3 clues per question, 150 if the team gets it right in the first clue, 100 if they get it on the second clue, and 50 points if they get it right on the third clue. But this round doesn't pass. But of course, there's a double cards at your disposal, which you can use to double your score. So without further ado, let's take a look at the order in which the home team, that is the Bengaluru Aces, would want this round to go, or rather this quiz to go.
So the home team is going to be answering first, moving clockwise, followed by the Wizards, then the Intellects, the Geeks, the Brainiacs, and the Erudites at the end. All right, Shubhadeep Sharkar is ready for the first question, and it's coming up on your screen now. Earl gave me a ferociously feline byname after a South Vietnamese soldier with whom he had fought side by side.
Oh, should I answer now? Tiger Woods.
The Bengaluru Aces waste no time in getting 150 points. This, of course, is Tiger Woods with a feline name. Shaumonnoy, superb answering from the home team.
Yes, with absolute ferocious aggression, Shubhadeep Sharkar opens his account. The second clue was, of course, a 3-time US Open champion, tied with Sam Snead. In 2010, after a record 281 weeks, they lost my #1 ranking and, well, close to $20 million from endorsements from Gatorade, AT&T, and Accenture. That was, of course, Tiger Woods. We move to Pratyush Singhal of the Kolkata Wizards. Let's see if Pratyush can repeat Shubhadeep in this quiz.
All right, first clue for 150 points. In 2003, after a daycare field trip, I started teaching myself to flip backwards of mailboxes. And why? The interesting origins of sports people.
I'll guess Simone Biles.
The Wizards have gone for 150 points and they've nailed it. Simone Biles, brilliant answering there by Pratyush. Didn't require the other 2 clues, Shaumonnoy.
Absolutely. But for the benefit of our viewers, we will take a look at the 2 clues. Standing at 4'9", I was the shortest of all 555 athletes representing my nation at Rio 2016. And the third clue was, apart from my sparkly sleeves, 30 Olympic and World Championship medals shine in my cabinet. So this is Simone Biles, an absolute legend. Well, 250 is to start with. All right, this is the age of 2020. You have to hit right out of the park, right from the very beginning. So let's see what's the direct for Abhimanyu Bharade. Abhimanyu feels no pressure at all.
A Laureus World Sportswoman of the Year. In May 2021, I'm the first Asian to be ranked world #1 in my sport.
Naomi Osaka.
All right, the intellects are also going for 150 points. All right, no messing about from the first three teams. Naomi Osaka, absolutely correct. Big shot tennis legend. Shamunai, superb answering by the first three teams.
Absolutely. And well, Abhimanyu is the only person to have got 115 all the three quizzes he has represented his team. What a statistics there for the marquee player. Picking up my US Open trophy, I hinted at my dad's height and heritage with a Kenta headscarf, and of course, Naomi Osaka, an Olympic medal contender in 2021. With that, we come to halfway in this particular round. We will take a look at the Geeks first direct. The right half has to really lead up to the left half of the quiz. Okay, Mumbai Geeks, the first ever clue for Amlan Sanyal, who is indeed a newbie in this format. Let's take a look at his first clue for 150 points.
I was actually stricter than the harmful one on reel, who won over Hindi hearts and the Chini box office. It's his first time.
I'll take another clue.
He's gone for a clue. So for 100 points now, a great hero. I drew criticism from one PR Sondhi, the coach of the 2008 Beijing Games bronze medal winning side.
No, I'll take another clue.
He's gone for the 50-pointer now. Third clue coming up. I was very much there and not locked inside a room when my daughter won a gold medal, as mentioned in my authorized biography, Akhada. Should be a sitter now.
So I'll say Fogart.
He says Fogart. We, of course, need a more specific answer. We need the full name.
Maninder Singh.
He's gone for Maninder Singh, and as so often happens, you miss the right name at the wrong moment. He did get the funder right. This is Mahavir Fogart, not Maninder Fogart. Mahavir Fogart, of course, the movie being Dangal. No worries. There's lots and lots of time for him to come back strong. For now, we move to the Delhi Brainiacs and Naman Jain. All right, first clue coming up. After England's 2021 tour, DK tweeted that I was the revelation of the series for my consistency.
We finally arrive at cricket.
Finally.
I will take a double on this. And I will say Shafali Verma.
He's gone for a double and he says Shafali Verma. It's wrong, unfortunately. All right. I pulled out of the first leg of the IPL after my family was struck by COVID-19. So he wanted to beat the Kolkata Wizards to the first double card. He did that, but couldn't convert it.
Family was struck by. I will take the third clue.
All right, for 50 points now. I was included in an elite list for 2021, the third from India after Mr. Venkatraghavan and Mr. Ravi.
I will just say, no, I'll pass.
He passes. Let's take a look at the answer. This is, of course, umpire Nitin Menon making huge strides in the field, Shamunai. I think he would have got the field but couldn't close in on the name.
Yeah, so we come to the last and final question of the round for Chennai Aerials.
All right, at 28, I became the second from my nation to win the world's oldest tournament in my sport, held at the Arena Birmingham. 150 points for Sagar Agarwal to take.
Yeah, is it PV Sindhu?
PV Sindhu is the wrong answer. Now, for 100 points, I won the 1996 Nationals and retained it for the next 5 years until my career ended as a result of chronic knee problems.
Pulila Gopichand.
He had the right spot, the wrong name, but he gets it now. 100 points. Pullila Gopichand, of course. Modern Olympic great from India.
Okay, yeah, that was Pulela Gopichand. The third clue was, as a coach, I helped both Saina Nehwal and PV Sindhu win their Olympic medals, an absolute legend. And the first clue was a reference to the All England Badminton Open. That was quite a thing in his days. All right, we come to the end of the first round. After the end of first round, Dhruv, let's take a look at the scores.
All right, so we've got the first three teams. This is almost like opening day for the Premier League, like all the big four, well, in this case, the big three managed to finish with a win. 150 points there. Nothing yet for the geeks and the brainiacs, and the erudites getting 100 points. Early days yet. We're ready for the second round. Let's not waste any time, Shaman. Show us what it's all about.
Yeah, the round two, of course, is lock and load. 6 questions clockwise, 1 direct for each team. Now, this round can open up the quiz because this round has differential passing. So, for each direct, team gets a plus 100. But if it passes, then the 6th position team can potentially rake in a 350 points in a single question from this round. So, we have seen lots of ups and downs throughout the league so far. Let's see what the sports and games quiz has to take. All right, we will take a look at the first question, which should be direct to the home team, the Bengaluru Aces. On your screen, here it goes now.
Groceries Not Games was the rallying cry of people opposing something that was organized at the height of a severe economic downturn, with people in the concerned country waiting in bread lines that stretched for blocks. Which specific sporting event was this?
Okay, I'll be guessing 1936 Berlin Olympics.
The Aces say Berlin 1936. That's incorrect. So for 150 points now to the Wizards.
I will say the first ever FIFA World Cup.
Incorrect. Passes to the intellects.
So I think this was the Youth Olympics in Venezuela. So Venezuela, there was a lot of food crisis.
All right. So the top three teams not getting anything this first question. Now for the geeks.
I'll say these are the austerity Olympic Games of 1948, London.
London 1948. The auction continues to the brainiacs now.
I'll just say 2016 Rio.
2016 Rio. All right. For 350 points, Sagar Agarwal.
Is it the 1932 Olympics? 1932. I don't know. Is it Las Vegas? Los Angeles, sorry. Los Angeles.
He says LA in 1932. It's worth 350 points if he's right, and he's right. Despair on the other team's faces. They just realized they missed the auction. Shaman, 32 LA Olympics, of course. Excellent answer there by the erudites.
Brilliant. Absolutely. Really catched into the fact that this was a Great Depression was going on just before that time, and there were bread lines waiting for food. They didn't really want an Olympic Games at that time, and maybe there's a repeat of the same in 2028. I'm hearing stuff like that. But well, that's for later. Now, business. So this is Kolkata Wizards Direct. Let's see if you can get 100 points.
In 2018, the US Navy launched a $1 million study to see if a particular activity could help alleviate PTSD. Turns out it does benefit mental health and alleviates psychological problems more for women than men. Thankfully, this was real. If the same had taken place on the internet, it might have aggravated all the which activity slated to make its Olympic debut is being talked about here. So consecutive Olympics questions. Let's see if the Wizards can nail this one.
I will guess sport climbing.
Sport climbing says it's incorrect. Passes for 150 points to the intellects.
I think this is breakdancing.
Breakdancing indeed to make a debut, but not the right answer. 200 points for the geeks. Chance to open the account.
We'll say this is karate.
Karate is wrong. Passes to the brainiacs. Also chance to open their account.
Pass.
Passes. Naman. The erudites.
Is it skateboarding?
Skateboarding is wrong. All right. Big points here for the Aces.
Is it esports?
The Aces go for esports. All right. This passes out completely. Let's take a look at the answer.
Basketball.
Without the pressure of answering, now the guess is
Surfing.
And there you go. The Wizards now have it. It's surfing. Of course, expect the Navy to come up with this and do a study on it. No problem. First, 2 questions unanswered by the teams they were asked to. A chance for the intellects now to move ahead. A 6-year-old chimp called Raven was an extremely successful stockbroker. By selecting stocks from a list of internet companies, she came 22nd out of 6,000 money managers in terms of profits. By engaging in what activity did she pinpoint on these stocks? Interesting trivia.
I think I'll double this.
Unfortunately, doubling is not allowed in this round.
Acha, fine. This chimpanzee threw darts at a random stock board.
Abhimanyu Bharade says that the chimpanzee threw stocks, and he's absolutely right. What a neat way to earn money, Shamanai. There's still hope for us yet, huh?
Absolutely. By throwing darts, can you imagine this? My goodness. I'm sure certainly a better investor than me for sure. But nonetheless, we move to the Mumbai Geeks now. Amlan waiting for his direct.
All right. The Geeks and the Brainiacs will want to get off the mark with this question. Well, they're direct questions at least. Which legendary footballer's 2016 autobiography was appropriately titled My Turn? Short and simple question.
Johan Cruyff.
Johan Cruyff, say the Geeks. Johan Cruyff gets them to 100 points. They're up and running. Lovely answer there by Omlan Shandar. Direct now for the Brainiacs. The Borrow the Dash initiative, started by ASB for multiple small enterprises, was quite the logistical feat. Saw ASB donate media space, advertise on strategy, and fund the services of its agency, the With Collective, to produce 100 ads of the selected small businesses. One, the Grizzly Supplies, saw a 6,800% increase in social traffic. Well, fill in the blanks basically with an entity that won world titles in 1987, 2011, and 2015. Long question with a short answer.
Okay, I'll just guess the New Zealand rugby team, All Blacks. 87, 11, and 15 world titles.
Well, sometimes the longest answers require the shortest time to get 100 points. The Brainiacs off the mark now. Excellent to see, Shaman Naik. Everybody is now got off the mark. They'll be feeling good about themselves with 1 question to go.
The scoreboard looks beautiful. Now we move to Sagar Agarwal, who had an early lead in the second round. Let's see if he can hold on to his lead for his direct question, which will be direct to Chennai Erudites. Here it comes.
All right. Begun in 2014 and sanctioned by the FIA, how is Formula E different from Formula One?
Yeah, so they use electric vehicles instead of vehicles that run on fuel.
The other teams look sheepishly here and there. They realized this was a bit too easy, but that's the luck of the draw. Electrically powered Formula One racing. So with that, we're done with 2 rounds. I think it's time to take a look at the scorecard before we go into a short break. All right, all the teams up to mark. You've got the Geeks and the Brainiacs on 100. You've got the home team on 150, the Aces and the Wizards as well. The Intellects on 250, and right now, leading the way are the Chennai Erudites with 550 points. Mind you, the Chennai Erudites are right at the bottom of the table, so this is an all-important match for them to again even out the standings, the relative standings as it were. All right, I think this is the right time to use the term half-time. This is, of course, the strategic timeout. We're going to take 2 minutes to let the players refuel, rebuild from within, and come out stronger. We'll see you very shortly. Don't go away. In 2 minutes, we'll be back with the second half of the Sports and Games quiz. Hello, everyone. We're back with the Sports and Games quiz. This is the 10th quiz in the ProQuizzin League Battle of the Youth. And it's time for the 3rd round. Shaman Mai, tell us what it's all about.
Yes, Third round, don't shoot the messenger being our celebrity quizmaster, our guest quizmaster. 6 two-tier questions, 1 direct for each team. There will be a visual question with each and every question that appears on the screen. For direct, they can get a plus 200, but they can always ask for a clue, for which, if they're right, they get a plus 100. Height passes flat for a plus 100 points to the teams, but teams can make a use of their double cards, which make a return in this round for the second and last time. Well, let's take a look at the order in which the Bengaluru Aces would want this round to go. But before that, we will of course take a look at our celebrity quizmaster. Dhruv, please introduce him.
All right. Our celebrity quizmaster is no less than a former cricketer, an international cricketer from India, Deep Das Gupta. Of course, a Hindi and English commentator now. I, of course, have memories of him from the turn of the century, watching him play during my college days in that famous or rather infamous South African series. Great memories. Good to see him here, helping the youngsters forge ahead in their quest for quizzing excellence. Let's take a look at how the teams are going to be playing out these last 2 rounds. This round, of course, the Bengaluru Aces have chosen that this round will continue as it was. So the first question to the Aces, Shubhadeep shortcut coming up on screen now.
What first, held way back in 1903 in its modern avatar, is this photograph of?
All right, we've got an old photo of a space of an area. What first, held way back in 1903 in its modern avatar, is this a photograph of?
Acha, I'll take the other clue.
All right, he wants to go for the 100-pointer. Clue is a misnomer in a way. The winning team is awarded the Commissioner's Trophy.
Okay. I'm gonna guess Major League Baseball.
Major League Baseball, he says. That's not enough to get him the points. Passes to the Wizards.
I will say Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, say the Wizards. Also wrong. Passes to the Intellects.
This is the World Series.
A slightly sharper answer than Major League Baseball.
World Series baseball.
World Series. This is the World Series. Shubhadeep throwing his hands, grabbing his head. He was close, but not good enough. The World Series, of course, played at the end of the MLB season. A good answer there. 100 points by the Intellects. All right. Direct for the Wizards now. Coming up on screen.
Well, seen here in a video from 2004, this then 12-year-old lad from Nagreg showed glimpses of what more lay in store. Which former Roma and Basel man is this?
Seen here in a video from 2004, this then 12-year-old lad from Nagreg showed glimpses of what more lay in store. So which former Roma and Basel man is this? Pratyush wants the clue. He was voted the Premier League's Player of the Season in 2017-18.
I'll pass.
Passes now to Abhimanyu again.
Mohamed Salah.
And he's not going to miss that. Shamunai.
Basel to
100
Chelsea,
points.
Chelsea to Roma.
Look at the smile in Abhimanyu's face. He knows it was a freebie of sorts. It was one of the luck of the draw, but missed by the Wizards. This happens in our best. Nonetheless, we take a look at Abhimanyu's direct question now.
Well, this Z5 show was based on a crime that took place in Lucknow in 1988, which 8 times in a row national champion was inspiration for this show.
All right, now we've got the photograph of a poster here. This Z5 show was based on a crime that took place in Lucknow in 1988, which 8 times in a row national champion was the inspiration for the show.
I'll take a hint.
All right, he's gone for a hint. Although born with Mehdi Hassan Zaidi as part of his name, his surname was modified to that of another future PM. Huge deal in the 1980s, of course, before his time, but a famous name nonetheless.
Let's say Jahangir Khan. I know it's wrong, but Jahangir Khan.
And he's gone for Jahangir Khan. It's wrong, as he predicted. The Geeks.
Yeah, it's Syed Modi.
Oh, the geeks really know their sporting history. Superb answer there. Syed Modi, the badminton champ, of course. Very, very tragic circumstances in 1988. You should read all about it. One of the darker moments in Indian sporting history. For now, it's a bright moment for the geeks. 100 points. We move now to their direct.
Right. In 2009, this person seen here pulled off what remains one of the biggest upsets in tennis history for the first time. What is it?
In 2009, the person here pulled off what remains one of the biggest upsets in tennis history for the first time. What feat was this?
Okay, so I need the feat, right? I need the feat, right? He beat Rafael Nadal in the French Open. Robin Soderling.
He knows the name, he knows the occasion. Robin Soderling, the man who defeated Rafael Nadal at Roland Garros. And as Federer fans say, this man was put on earth to allow Federer to win the French Open that one time. With all due apologies to Federer fans, I'm just quoting. All right, direct now for the Delhi Brainiacs.
Right. Which diminutive yet dynamic sportsman lends his name to this indoor hall which hosted certain events during the 2010 Commonwealth Games?
Which diminutive yet dynamic sportsman lends his name to this indoor hall which hosted certain events during the 2010 Commonwealth Games?
I will. This is the last round where we can go on double, right? Okay. I will just say I will go for a double, and I will say Kasaba Jadhav, 1952 Helsinki medalist.
He missed his first double. He's gone for it again. And all right, this is Kolkata Wizards style. K.D. Jadhav, of course, Shamunai, legend from 1952.
Yes, absolutely brilliant answer from Naman Jain. I really love how Naman drinks water sometimes just to charge himself up. He's one of the young and dynamic quizzers we have in our country at this point. But nonetheless, we move to the last and final question of this round, which is directed to Sagar Agarwal. Let's see his video.
Well, he left his permanent job in a dairy farm at Muzaffarpur in 2006 to pursue his passion. In his words, whatever little he earns is spent on trains. Name this colourful person who often goes by his nickname to avoid any confusion with a newscaster.
He left his permanent job in a dairy farm at Muzaffarpur in 2006 to pursue his passion. In his words, whatever little he earns is spent on trains. Name this colourful person who often goes by his nickname to avoid confusion with a newscaster.
This is the Sachin Tendulkar fan who comes up to watch every match, painted all in the Indian tricolors.
Smiles from the other teams.
Can I get a clue?
Unfortunately, it's wrong. Well, it's an incomplete answer.
Something Yadav. Pass. I forgot.
It passes the aces too.
Sudhir Kumar Chaudhary.
And the Wizards will not miss this. Round 3, just 100 points, but they want it.
Like, it should be 200, right? Without a hint.
So 100 points, of course, though the hint wasn't taken. Once it passes, it's worth 100 points. Oh, the teams were smiling because everybody seemed to know that answer. Unfortunately, not the editors this time. It doesn't matter. Let's take a look at the scorecard as we head into the final round. All right, now this is big because we've got 4 teams clustering at the top. 550 points, the editors still in the lead, but right behind them, the Brainiacs with 500. Right behind them, the Intellects with 450. Right behind them, the Mumbai Geeks storming into 4th place with 400. You've got the Wizards on 250, and you've got the Aces on 150. So just 50 points separating the top 4 teams, and 50 is nothing in round 4, as Shamunai is just about to tell you.
Yes, Dhruv is right, because the round 4, our final round, is the final frontier. 6 questions anti-clockwise as usual, 1 direct for each team. This round also has a differential passing, just like round 2. For 1 direct question, you get a plus 100, but if it passes, then the 6th team can potentially reckon now the 350 points. All right, just as we saw in the second round in this particular quiz. Let's see in the 4th round we can have an encore of the same. But for now, we move anti-clockwise and we start with the Chennai LBX, who has a slender margin of lead from the Delhi Brainiacs at this point in time. Let's see if we can hold on to that lead.
All right. Question 1 for the Chennai erudites, Sagar Agarwal. Chance to increase their lead to 650 here. A dominant force across the 90s with 3 amateur and 5 professional world titles. Connect. Worth 100 points right now.
Is it Geet Sodi, the snooker player, the billiards player?
Well, that's the wrong answer. So it passes for 150 points to the Brainiacs.
Peter Nicole.
Nicole is wrong. Passes to the Geeks.
Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey is wrong. Now with the intellects.
Jeev Milkha Singh, because they said Geet Sodi.
Jeev Milkha Singh is wrong.
I'll say Geet Sethi.
He gets it right. Geet Sodi was close, but not good enough. Geet Sethi gets 300 points for the Wizards, and they've tied for the top spot right now with the erudites. As expected in the sports and games quiz, it's coming down to the wire. It's fiercely competitive. I'm loving this, Shaman, aren't you?
Absolutely. And well, Chennai erudites is singularly responsible for Kolkata Wizards to be back in the game. They were literally nowhere with 2 direct questions on the trot. They literally got Kolkata Wizards in a stone's throw away from victory. All right, and tie at this point in time. That was, of course, Peter Gilchrist. That's a book, Success versus Joy. And that's the 13th Asian Games in Malaysia. So all connecting to Geet Sethi and not Geet Sodi. Abhimanyu is furious too. But nonetheless, this happens in quizzing. We move to Nam Giants direct now for the Delhi Brainiacs.
Cheating in this is called brailing. Short clue. 3 things to connect.
I will just say Scrabble. Hasbro is a company which produces toys and produces toys. You said this quiz is sports and games, so bhi wahi yaad aa raha hai.
So he just says Scrabble, and he just has to say Scrabble to get 100 points. Superbly done, and now he's in the lead. My God, Shamanai, this round is giving us more than we predicted.
Of course, that's Hasbro, famous Scrabble connection there as established by Naman Jain. We move to the second clue, which was bingo, right? That's a Scrabble term, and that is NYT. So Alfred Butts, the founder or the inventor of Scrabbles, actually took those words or letters, the value that he had from the NYT, which he was reading, which he was a daily reader of. Naman is truly into the zone, as we call. All right, but nonetheless, we move to Amlan Sanyal now. Mumbai Geeks is direct.
A valiant man who drag-flicked his bullet injury away en route to the record books.
I'll say Sandeep Singh.
He latches on to the clue over there. Comes up with a
I mean,
guess.
he's a drag flicker, famous, and I think he joined BJP.
Sandeep Singh, drag flicker. He puts 1 and 1, and he gets not 2. He gets 100 points, and he joins the bustle and hustle at the top. Superb answer there, Shaman, again.
Yeah, fantastic workout. That was, of course, Sultan Azlan Shah tournament. All right, there were 4 clues. That was the second is, of course, Tapsi Pannu. That is from the reference to film Surma. Well, that is Dhanraj Pillai, right? And that is, of course, the flag of BJP, of which Sandeep Singh is a member now. So we come to the 3 questions, last 3 questions to go direct to Abhimanyu Bharade now.
A game of sequences and sets deemed legal by the Supreme Court. Not a very difficult one, I would think.
So one word answer suffices, right? So I'll say Rummy.
He says Rummy.
Jungly Games is an online Rummy site, sequence and sets, and that's all I remember. Sequence sets, I remember I played Rummy in my childhood. So
you just need 1 word to get 100 direct points. And now 3 teams on 550 Shamanai. It's getting more and more exciting.
Now we move on to Kolkata Wizards. But before that, we will take a look at the scores as it stands, as Dhruv literally points out that we are down to the wire in a sports and games quiz very, very fittingly.
All right. So if the Kolkata Wizards get this right, they get 650 points and sit and wait for the results of the last question. The Aces are pretty much out of contention for top spot, but really any of the other teams could come back to win today's quiz in just these 2 questions. 5 teams and any of them could be the winner. What more could you ask for from a sports and games quiz? All right, let's get ready for the penultimate question. This one is for the Kolkata Wizards, and Pratyush Singhal is ready and waiting, coming up on screen now. Daughter of a cricketer and the first Indian to break into the top 10 in the PSA rankings.
Deepika Pallikal. Because like her mother is a women's cricketer and she has won an Arjuna award as well. And that's Nicole, I forgot her name, but she's a squash player. Jyotsna Chinnappa, I think.
This is incredible. Squash makes an entrance this late in the episode, but Pratyush Singhal is right there to grab 100 crucial points. He's in the lead now. He's done the best he can. Now he's just got to sit and wait. Shravan, let's take a look at the connect.
Yes, that was Sarah Fitzgerald, whose name Pratyush couldn't recollect at that point. There is, of course, the Commonwealth Games at Scotland. There is Jyotsna Chinnappa, whose name just struck Pratyush's mind very little later, but nonetheless. And that was, of course, Arjuna Award, all pointing to Deepika Pallikal. All right, the last and final question for Shubhadeep Sarkar. Let's take a look at question number 6 and the last and final question of this sports and games quiz.
So literally, whoever answers this, apart from the Aces, could win the quiz. Ready or not, here I come. 100 points for the Aces. 4 clues.
4 images, 1 tangential textual clue.
Nothing. I'm gonna pass this. Nothing.
Right. It's an off day for Shubhadeep, a brilliant quiz otherwise. Not in the space today.
Hide and seek. Ready or not, here I come, and parlay hide and seek.
150 points on offer, and the erudites take them happily. What a photo finish this has been. 700 points, and Sagar Agarwal leads his team to victory. This is beautiful. This is absolutely gorgeous to watch, Shaman.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see how poetic justice kinds of play in. So Pratyush Singhal will actually be at that position because of Sagar Agarwal's generosity. But now he just snatches victory out of thin air in the last question. So please do the honors and tell us the final scores as it stands.
Not a great day in the field for the home team. The Aces finished with just 150 points, but the rest of the teams have put on a show to remember. With 500 points, the Mumbai Geeks, Omlan Shandal, making his first appearance in the Battle of the Youth and doing splendidly well. 550 points for the Intellects, 600 points for the Brainiacs, 650 points for the Wizards, and winning today's quiz, the Chennai Erudites. 50-point margin separating the other 5 teams. It's almost perfect. Shamunai, now this has huge implications on the overall league standing, but before that, tell us how this affects the points for today.
Yeah, all right. So Ahmedabad Intellects finishing on 3. I think they could have reached a little higher had they got the Beat Sechi connect, but nonetheless, well, Bengaluru Aces finishing on 1. Not a good day for Shubhadeep Sarkar, but I know how he's brilliant in his day, but certainly that was not today. All right. Chennai Erudites winning the quiz out of nowhere on 6. Delhi Brainiacs on 4, Kolkata Wizards on 5, and Mumbai Geeks on 2. So I kind of feel bad for the Geeks and the Brainiacs because they were literally a stone throw away from victory, but well, in a tough quiz, in a quiz where you have already seen the other teams performing so well, a hair split can actually make the difference between the good and the very good and the best. All right, but before we move on with the usual proceedings, at the last bit, in the last 45 minutes, we witnessed 24 questions, well, close to 20 different sports. So a lot of things to choose for, a lot of things to watch. Of course, we should watch some other sports as well. And with the Olympics in this year, things are getting really better on that front. But before that, Dhruv, please tell us what the league standing look with certain changes in the scores.
All right, with 2 games to go, we had said at the beginning that if the Chennai Erudites win, it could be huge, and it is indeed huge. All right, right at the top, you can see massive change. The Kolkata Wizards now squarely in the lead with 44 points. The Bengaluru Aces with 40 points are in second place. The Brainiacs shoot up to third place with 34 points. The Erudites and the Intellects right 1 point behind them with 33. And the Geeks with 32 points at the bottom of the table. But again, that's 4 teams that are literally 1 point apart from each other. 2 games to play. There's going to be a lot of strategizing. There's going to be a lot of thinking. Teams are going to be spending much more time on figuring out seating orders, who will represent, when to use double cards and all that sort of thing. It's just going to get better and better. With 2 quizzes to go, this is Dhruv Mukherjee signing off with Shravanay Banerjee. We'll see you next for the fashion and lifestyle quiz. That'll be quiz number 11. Until then, take care, stay safe, and have a great time. Thank you, everyone.